Background music for this podcast is used with permission from the Hustle Cat soundtrack. If you like it, please check out at SAMMNEILAND or that same name at .bandcamp.com. You can see in the description below. Thank you. Hey everybody, welcome back to Visual Novel Book Club. I'm your pal Slowbeef. With me, of course, my good friend Turbo C.
Hey everyone.
My good friend Pulahoko.
Hey.
My good friend Jim.
Howdy.
My good friend Devious Vacuum.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's episode 4, and we finished out the Finley Route, huh?
We sure did.
What a roller coaster it's been.
Yeah. Hustle Cat sort of backloads a lot of the excitement, I would say.
A lot of awesome things happen near the end.
Yeah, a lot of things happen near the end. Let's start here. I don't know who wants to kick things off.
I'll do it.
Go for it. Okay.
Well, last time when we left off, we had just come back from Finley spending the night at our place, albeit as a cat. And Mason was proud of her dear Finley, kind of. Like, Mason was like, yes, good. And we start off this reading with us offering to take Finley's shift so she doesn't have to deal with that hoodie creepo who was outside the cafe last time. And you know some shit is going to happen with this Jelly Donut internet stalker. But I don't know, I think this is an interesting interaction. Like, Finley is always like, don't worry about it, like, it's fine, I can handle myself, and like, on one hand, she can handle herself, and on the other hand, it's okay to ask for help, or like, accept help from people who care about you. And then Avery is like, a little bit, like, parental in their concern for Finley, but then also is, you know, it's good to care that your friends are okay.
It's also a bit like, this is a unique situation that I don't think, like, people in general have gotten, like, used to yet. Like, having internet stalkers come and, you know, be a threat, so to speak, in real life.
Yeah.
We actually even talked sort of a little bit about this offline after the end of last podcast, but it's a weird situation to be in. And so I can understand a lot of... Finley brushes it off a lot, and I feel like some of that could be attributed to just be like, yeah, they're just saying shit, though. They're not actually going to do anything.
Yeah, it does come across like that. And also,
right.
I mean, the guy shows up, but he's not, like, I guess because it's at her place of work and everyone's around, it's not, like, a physical threat the same way. Like, it's only like, oh, you know, maybe he'll say something mean to her, but I mean, he can't like get her. I mean, you know, he can't. I mean, I guess unless he was gonna like murder her, but that doesn't seem like this kind of game.
Well, I think in general too, like, you know, I think people feel a little like safer in public places. You know, like just in general, you know, it's like, okay, that's. I mean, I don't know, but like, maybe that's part of it too. It's like, okay, it's a little scary, but you know what? I mean,
yeah, what is he gonna do?
We're here,
is I think her perspective, yeah.
I mean,
well, and he also doesn't even come in at first.
Yeah, he comes in later in the afternoon. So, yeah, and then we offer to take the table from Finley, and so Finley goes in the back, and we start waiting this table and being like, "What do you want to order?" And he's like, "Oh no,
waiting for someone, right?
I'm waiting for someone," or "No, I don't want anything. I don't know." And we keep bothering him like a couple times, and then I guess Avery like second guesses themselves and is like, maybe it's fine, maybe it's not a big deal, and then finally goes upstairs and lets Finley come back out, which seems really weird. I don't like. It's pretty clear
Avery
that
was just like, oh, he's waiting for someone. Okay, clearly this couldn't mean any...
Oh my lord, right, yeah.
He was like, oh, he must be like being stood up on a date or something. This couldn't possibly mean he's looking for Finley.
Yeah, it's
weird.
And then it goes upstairs, tells Finley the coast is clear, and lets her come down
Yeah.
by herself while he chats with Hayes.
yeah, it's like, yeah. not Avery's best moment, to say the least.
I mean, he takes a while to get to that point, but yeah, it's not really a good moment.
No.
I mean, Avery's oblivious, but this is just, it's to the point of frustration.
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah. Like, I kind of thought, like, maybe did I miss something when Avery's like, is the coast clear? Because it's like, what? Like, the coast is not clear. That means person is gone, don't worry. Not like, hey, I think this person, is totally, you know what I mean?
We're best friends now.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, believe me.
I just
We
invented
bonded
this
over
story in my
stalking
head.
your jelly donut thing.
Yeah, and like, Avery's such a fan of Jelly Donut that like the whole like, oh, Avery doesn't know how internet harassment works is a little bit unbelievable to me, because any amount of like immersion in internet culture, like you're gonna be aware of that right off the bat. Even if you
Right.
don't know what to do about it, like you're gonna be aware of it and how dark it can get.
See, here's the thing.
Yeah,
I like that the game goes in this direction, if only for a little bit, because we really haven't had much media that kind of explores these kind of themes, like, being famous on the internet, or the internet being a thing where anybody can find you and come to your work, or people being able to say anything about you on the internet.
Yeah, it's
And-
good. It's a very modern problem.
Yeah, and people, you guys mentioned, well,
Or-
this guy, obviously, he's not going to do anything. It's in a public space, but then there's things like, what's he going to do? Is he going to take pictures of where you work, where you live? Are other people going to come? Is this just going to keep happening forever?
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, the only real, like, it's funny, like, it's one of the few media that handles it in, like, a, what's the word, reasonable way, because the only thing that does tend to talk about it is, like, CSI.
That's what- yeah.
Like, the AKA the show that, like, never has any idea what it's talking about.
Yeah.
Like, ever.
Yeah.
Almost on purpose.
Yeah, it's, like, written by some grandpa.
Well,
It's like, I understand crime and all that, but...
if the internet's stuck, and you just unplug the monitor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly
Then
right.
they can't hack you.
It's an internet.
It's like, yeah...
It's an internet forum full of trolls. They call themselves the Death Skull Gang.
Why don't we just stop playing on the internet? Like, I don't know, these kids, if that's all they did, then we wouldn't even have these problems, But anyway,
So
that's the anti-CSI rant for the week.
So suddenly this guy, hoodie guy, is yelling at Finley downstairs, and we run back down and see what's going on and try to get ourselves involved.
And it seems super serious at first because the dude's stalking her and yelling at her, but then he says something along the lines of, all of us don't like you at Neko, and like it's hard to keep serious when he says that.
And
Like,
there's
at
also
that
a
point-
note that he's reading this off a cue card, which
Oh yeah, he has notes.
yeah.
Like, at this point, it's revealed that he's just like the dumb villain guy, and you're supposed to laugh at him.
Right. The Bebop and/or Rocksteady of
Hey,
Hustle.
the Shredder don't like you toidles.
And he says
Right,
he says females at some point. Like the whole thing is just. I think he says something along the lines of like, "Is this what females are like in real life?" Which I feel like is almost like too much of a deep cut. Like it's like it's a little
It's
like,
like-
okay, yeah, we get it.
Right, yeah.
I do like when they threaten to kick him out of the cafe, and he's like, "Well, you can't censor me like that."
Yeah, they
Yeah, it's-
definitely put some references.
Yeah, I
into
mean
That's
it's
the thing.
definitely pretty clear cut the type of personality from sort of
Right.
standard internet harassment to brought into real life. And I don't know, I've never like seen what real life harassment is like from internet randos, but I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's... Yeah, I mean, neither have I, frankly, so I don't... I mean, you hear, like, those stories and things like that, but it's typically, like...
You hear about like hands off things like calling people for swatting and things like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This
So,
reads almost like something online rather than something you'd hear someone actually say in person.
Yeah.
Right.
I do
oh,
like the
okay.
characterization that he's like not like confident in himself, and like I feel like that sort of equates a lot to like the internet harassment type deal where you're hiding behind something and then you sort of have to be prepared a little bit, like with note cards or when
Like,
things don't go to
He
plan.
reads like a character that just flat out has no kind of social skills at all, and everything is just on the internet for him.
Not like us, right?
No, not like
Yeah,
us.
and that's kind of presented as pathetic, and in a way that like is a partially accurate and partially, I think, a little bit too far to be like, oh, look how pathetic this bully is in real life. He does things like be too awkward to have good conversation skills, which is like not something to make fun of someone about. Like, that's not that's those two, like being a bully and not being able to always talk to people well are independent of each other.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, there's a point where I think like it's funny, like we were talking about like CSI and everything, because then it does start to handle this a little almost like farcically, where it's like, did we mention what a loser this guy is? He's such a loser, right? Does he actually get a name? It's just Creep is in his dialogue box, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I really
I think
think it's
he
just Creep.
I think he has like a name among the like fans or creators or something like that, but I don't think he's ever explicitly named.
So the whole thing,
That loser.
Yeah,
The whole
but
thing-
I don't know. I think he also feels a bit threatening in his own way, because he does do, and he does sort of do this thing like where like if someone's harassing your friend or something like that, you're gonna get a rise out of him. You're like, get the hell out of here or I'll beat you up. And he's like, oh, you're gonna resort to violence? And like, of course, yes, I am, because you're insulting my friends, but also like, this fucker's got me. Not like got me, but like, you sort of feel like you're playing into his super like mastermind trap. I don't know. I hate that.
I think I kind of see what you're saying. Like, how to describe
I
it.
wouldn't say he's threatening, but it's like, what the fuck do you do when in like these sorts of situations?
Yeah. I mean, I guess Mason has the right idea, which because I think
I
she
love
comes
Mason
over-
when she
Yeah,
comes in.
Mason is great. No, she comes in and basically confronts the guy and is like, go ahead, go back to your forum or whatever and tell him about the Hellcat at the Cat's Paw. I dare you.
Yeah, I love it. She's just, because he's like, oh, you're gonna beat me up too? And like, is this just all what you're like when you stupid white knights? And she's like, yeah, no, I'm gonna be this asshole. Go ahead, tell all your friends.
Yeah,
I
tell all
don't
your
fu-
friends about how I'm gonna beat them up. I'll beat them all up.
Yeah, because
And-
it's
and he
definitely
doesn't have
implied that
an
Mason's
answer.
going to kick their ass.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Well, at first, Finley almost, she starts balling her fists up and is about to deck the guy. And he's like, oh, well, you're going to beat me up, huh? Well, I guess I'm going to go tell all my friends about this, and then they'll hate you even more.
I don't know. It's funny now talking about it. Like, I don't really know how to read this scene anymore, because it's like it went from something that could be like kind of creepy, and it's just sort of like comical, and then I don't know what to make of it.
Like, it deals with very real problems. I think it deals with it in a okay way, in a way that fits the mood and tone of the rest of the game. I think it maybe dips a little bit of a toe in that pool, just enough to kind of make a point and then gets back out.
I got to be honest with you. This scene is colored in my mind by a scene coming up.
Yeah, there's that part too. Yeah, I'm trying to like kind of not influence the jury, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, it's like, all right. So I wish I knew Creep's plan too. But anyway, because it's just sort of like, hey, you got to get off this website. I'm here now.
Well, the thing is, he's there because people don't like her, or some people don't like her, and they want her to stop. They want her to get off the internet.
It's
And then
also, I think he
after-
makes a comment like that they basically think that she's like mistreating Jelly Donut, the cat.
Oh.
Yeah, he puts it like, you're using a cat to get famous and manipulate men.
That's right. Yeah. But it's like you can't feel bad for him at all because it's like it's not couched as like I'm an animal rights activist. It's also and by the way, I hate you because you're a woman.
But I like that it also like shows like he'll use like that harassers will use any excuse that they can latch onto to harass you, and it doesn't really matter what that is.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's like a little bit of hints of that kind of notion that if you're making money on the internet, you're doing it wrong. Like, oh, you're just taking cat videos. You're just playing video games. You're just talking about video games on the internet. That's not a job. You shouldn't be famous for that.
You know what, though, to be totally fair, people have been doing that for, like, computer jobs. And, like, there's, like, guys still now who are, like, you know, you sit at a fucking computer and type and shit, and that's, like, a job. Fuck that. I work in a ditch. Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, that
I
kind of
dig
thing.
holes.
Computers have been fake this whole time.
Right, but there's always this whole notion of, like, you know what real work is? The work I do. You know what I mean? And it's like... Yeah, anyway. That's a whole nother thing. But Mason then at one point... I feel like Hustlecat kind of writes a check the art can't cash. Insofar as Mason does, like, this really creepy smile. That's, like, super difficult to pull off, I feel like. Because, I don't know, she smiles then, and I kind of wasn't feeling it. But, yeah, you know.
I think
that's nothing against the game. I just think that that's a hard thing to really do. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like it needed its own CG, this smile versus just the scary Mason pose, but that's the limitation of the visual novel.
Yeah, and I don't want to make that sound like I'm coming down on the artist at all. It's just like something that's like that. It's hard. It's hard to like. It's show and tell. You know what I mean? It's like, here's something really intimidating, and it's like you really need like a picture that's gonna really like take a step. You know what I mean? Like you can't have like text that's gonna be like, here's what you're about to see, and then you see it, and then it's like, you know? Yeah.
I mean, I want to be clear that this game hasn't really skimped on the CG. There's a fair number of pictures and poses and stuff.
Oh yeah, sure.
It would have been nice to just
point.
see that one. It would have been nice.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, she smiles, but I don't know. At any rate, though, I mean, again, like, kind of a minor point. I get the gist. She's, you know, she's certainly pretty cool in that scenario in general.
Yeah.
So
I mean, for a character that never smiles, that's kind of,
And there are a lot of reminders in this game that it was a Kickstarted game and that its scope is very limited because of the nature of its funding and stuff like that. And it's sort of like, this is the limit that we have to stay under, which is always like, it's always like sad because it's like, God, I wish you guys had 3 times more money and 3 times more time and could give us like this whole fully actualized world. Because there's so many good bits that are like, oh, I wish I knew more about. I wish they spent more time to really flesh this out. But you can only work as much as the money that you have.
Right. Yeah.
So
I'm gonna say that I like it being smaller. I like that it's all, you know, nice and self-contained, and there's not too much fluff.
That it's not like Hustlecat Theft Auto with like
like there's no like pointless side quest where we have to worry about, oh, what about Avery's aunt, you know?
Cat management simulator.
Yeah, you have to feed the cats and like play with them with cat toys.
Oh,
No, that sounds great. I don't. That sounds great though.
I know. I think you've accidentally pitched something tonight.
You have to balance your relationships with your cat and your fiance.
Well,
like you don't want one to like you and one to hate you. You have to get them to both like you.
There's no way there's not a cat cafe simulator out there someplace.
Oh yeah.
No,
it probably just isn't translated, to be honest with you.
No way.
Like a phone game or something.
Yep.
All right. So Mason takes us back to the kitchen to talk about what just happened, and then Avery and Finley kind of get into a fight, and this is also kind of like, you know, like I was talking before, it's like a little put on. Like Avery is sort of takes an sort of, I guess, more extreme reaction than I would have thought from them, and is like, Finley, this is dangerous, like, why don't you stop making videos if this is going to be so dangerous? And Finley's kind of like, I don't know, like, you know, it's basically Avery says like the worst thing, which is, why don't you just give up because you're being harassed? And so Finley gets mad and is like, I can handle myself. And of course she's obviously conflicted about it too, and isn't looking for, it is looking for Avery to say, I support you and all that stuff. And that's not what they say. So Finley says, I can handle myself, and storms off and goes upstairs. And Mason makes us sit in a corner and drink tea in timeout.
Yeah.
I really like Mason here because, again, she's just this very cool character. And just, sends Finley up to her room to cool off, or up to Graves' room to cool off, and then just sits us down and is like, doesn't even say anything to us. And anytime we try to heat back up or start an argument, she's like, no, drink your tea.
But, no, this is where I'm losing Avery, because I'm like, who is this person?
Yeah, I kind of
if someone's yeah, it's like, yeah, sit down. Like, excuse me? Like, I'm sorry, I don't know you. Like, you're a coworker to me. You don't get to talk to me like that. You're not my boss. And even if you were, you can't really force me to sit down somewhere.
I just kind of disconnected with Avery. I think Avery deserves this, but it made me be like, I'm not like this character at all. Like, this character reacted poorly and needs to, be in timeout because they're being childish. And, I don't know. There's a lot of things about Avery that I'm like, this character is, I don't know, too young or too foolish for me to really connect with them.
But how does one adult put another adult in timeout? You know what I mean?
It's like a goof, yeah.
It's because actually Mason ignores Avery for a bit, and then Avery says, "Am I in timeout?" And then it's like, "No, drink this tea." And it's like, all right, I guess.
I don't
know. I had. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say I did like the. So I don't know. I sort of I agree, there's a disconnect between, me as the player and me using Avery as a conduit, because, no, I wouldn't act this way, and I also wouldn't be a brat, but I also did, the...
There's that, too, yeah.
But I did, the Mason being alright, sit down, chill, drink this tea, cool off, basically, because, that's sort of what you need to do when your adrenaline's rushing, and you're,
Oh, sure, but say the words chill. You know what I mean? Or just it's just this weird, Avery, you're sitting down here, and it's like, huh? What? I don't know. I'll put on my pundit voice. I don't buy it. You know what I mean?
This completely unrealistic cat game.
So then the argument becomes that Mason sort of reprimands Avery for being too parental toward Finley,
right.
And I think that's the sort of the conflict of it is either you buy into it and it's Avery is sort of immature in this way and needs to be taught that there is a way to be supportive without being sort of parental in your concern for the people you care about. And it's if you, the player, don't need to be taught that, then it's why didn't Avery just get this by during this time to pause?
Yeah.
But you can kind of also see the dichotomy there of you have to stop being so patronizing to someone, or so paternal to them, and you're gonna sit here and time out until you learn that.
Yeah,
that's the,
what?
Yeah, it seems like it's a whole hypocritical argument that wait, you're literally doing the thing you're telling me not to do. You're being you're adults who need to talk to each other express these things. You don't just say sit down. You're gonna do what I tell you to do because I said so. You talk about why. Hey, you need to chill for a while. This is not a good time to confront Finley. Maybe just take a second,
calm down a bit. Nothing good can come out of this.
It's going to be easier if you get over the emotion. You guys were just in a big confrontation with somebody. Relax for a little while and you'll be fine. That kind of thing you would express to someone. If you just have them sit down, they're not going to come to the realization, oh, I'm being parental to her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all of that versus just sit down.
Well, and so Avery even mentions at a point. I don't know. I'm coming at this from a bit of a different angle, but Avery does say at some point, she's gonna have me sit me down and reprimand me, and doesn't say anything to her, and then Mason doesn't say anything to Avery, at which point Avery's sort of going, "Oh, is this what's happening? I kind of actually wish you would." So it's sort of the thing where stew in your own thoughts for a little bit to think, about yourself. And of course, it is sort of like a timeout, but eventually once Avery's calmed down a little bit, I actually have some of the dialogue here. Avery's sort of like making up excuses for themselves and saying, I wanted to protect her, to which Mason's response is that your job? Well, no. And then big difference between protecting and acting like a parent. And
here's the thing. It's okay to have a wrong interpretation of Hustle Cat, okay? But no, I'm joking. I'm joking.
I'm done with this podcast.
Good. Get out.
Hey, you two. That time out. Both of you take a second.
just sit here.
I'm not saying it's a a perfect representation, and of course I am totally in the room of like, this is not my Avery that if I was given the choice of how to react in this situation, this would not be what I would have done. But so it does feel like this is very, I don't know.
In general, like, obviously it's like everybody's gonna take something different away from it, etc. But like,
I also sort of read it as Mason is kind of mad in this point, and also like, I need to sort of be quiet and not talk for a minute because I will just go out on the edge. But that is just me completely adding something. There's no hinting at that.
Mm-hmm.
So Mason's, feedback, I guess, works, and Avery goes upstairs and apologizes to Finley.
Yeah,
and also everyone else is sort of informed about what's going on and like kind of like looking out to make sure that this guy doesn't come back. I'm a little bit, I would think that they would all kind of be aware of this thing that might happen to her, because it probably, there have probably been weird people that have showed up to the Jelly Donut days before.
Well, apparently this is like a thing for her that she's had to deal with before, and they kind of talk it out, and again, Avery just kind of screws things up by saying like, well, is this really worth it? If this is going to keep happening, is being famous on the internet really worth it? And she kind of responds, it's like, well, I'm not really good at much else. My grades weren't really that good. I wasn't good at sports. This is what I can do. This is what makes me happy. This is what makes other people happy too. And if I just quit, then are people just going to move on? Or, and it kind of brings up that notion again of if you're in a position where you do make a living, or even you just have a hobby that makes you happy, that is an online presence that has all this attention on you, both good and bad, there need to be other ways to cope with that besides just leaving or giving up or getting off the internet. That's like, it's really easy to say, well, just get off the internet. Well, that's not really fair,
Finley says a really good line also, where she says that she's tired of being told what to do about what she likes, and I really liked that line. Like, I've definitely felt that before.
Nah, I hear that. That is a good line.
And again, this I want to restate that this is not Avery is not coming at the situation from a place of just wanting this to be over. He's in a position where he really does want to help, and he's just not going about it correctly, or just doesn't know what to do or what he can do, and I completely relate with that.
Yeah, my notes actually have Avery is an idiot and yells at Finley to stop doing the things she loves and makes everything worse. Actually this is actually even when they first had the initial argument, and I liked the response from Finley, which was, I'm a grown-ass woman.
Yeah.
Because Avery is not treating her like one.
Right.
But in terms of the actual conversation up in the apartment, I did like that Finley was like, she liked it for the attention. That's why she sort of started doing it. and then the quote of "not all attention is good attention."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But at least the tone upstairs is much more conciliatory.
Yeah, they're chiller.
They both understand the perspective of the other. So like this.
Yeah, down when it was downstairs, it was Avery telling Finley to quit, and upstairs it's Finley asking herself, what does she want to do, and sort of asking if she wants to quit, and she sort of comes to the conclusion that in the end, if it's not her, there's going to be someone else who's going to be targeted if she quits, and she'd rather just keep doing the thing that she likes doing and have her friends back her up.
Yeah, and at the end of it, I don't think Avery still, totally gets it.
I mean, he gets it a little bit. Like, he's not
Finley,
telling her to get off the internet. Like, he's getting it a little bit.
I feel like he at least respects it's her choice.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't understand, but I support you. You always have my support. And then they kiss. And I don't think that Avery earned that, honestly. I don't think that was a kiss-worthy response, frankly.
Well, he offers to be her
better. What would he have had to do to earn that?
I think just maybe getting it a little bit more and being or being more explicitly like, you're right, I'm not going to tell you what to do about your life and what you like, and whatever you want to do with your life is good, and it's just a little bit more not just I don't get it but I support you, but actually showing that they get it a little bit more.
Yeah. And also
they love jelly donut videos, so why would they not get it? Why would they not get the appeal? They very clearly do get the appeal, because they're oh, I want Mochi to be famous too.
Well, I guess I don't know. I mean, well,
even at the end, he's still offering to be her bodyguard, and then the good thing is she kind of disses him with that. She's like, well, yeah, you're not really suited for this. I've got other things in mind.
I love it. He tries to be that kind of traditional role of I'm gonna jump in and save everybody, and he just can't. He's just not built for it.
I do the kiss is a little awkward, and it's initiated by Finley, and I think Avery then initiates the second one. But I did like the quote afterwards from Avery that said, "Did that help? Am I helping?"
Yeah, exactly. That, I don't know, maybe I was mad. Maybe I've just experienced these things too close to my real life, and it makes me mad.
Oh man, VNBC goes into a new place. No,
the funny thing is too is you kind of get the idea that Finley really thinks he's kind of dumb but really cute. So they're, to her, Avery's just well, gotta accept the fact that this person is kind of a little dumb sometimes. So I don't really care. I just want to make out with them.
At least they look nice.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true, and also kind of rough. I think that's why the kiss kind of sat wrong with me. I think because it's oh, I love this dumb baby.
I think we got our title.
I love this dumb baby. Oh man.
And maybe because I like Finley so much, and I think Finley can do better.
I thought you were gonna say I like dumb babies too.
I would never drag any of my exes on this show like that. Please.
I love this dumb baby.
So Finley then is can I come over to your apartment again tonight and study magic, but please, and Avery's okay, I'll order another pizza, and she's please, no more pizza, please don't order any more pizza.
Get something
dumb
else.
Baby, eat something else.
I have in my Avery suggests fucking pizza again for a magic study night. Finley finally says no, let's get something different. They do end up getting Thai, and I have in my notes here, can we please play Mason next so Avery learns how to fucking cook?
So we walk.
Does Avery just eat out every night?
Some people live like that, okay?
Not off of a cat cafe salary.
I don't know, it messes me up too.
But, like, you know what, too? Haven't we had pad thai twice in the same game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Well, in pizzas, this is like probably like the 4th time.
That's fair, right? Yeah. No, that's Avery.
I mean,
Yeah, Avery's dumb baby part here is that just doesn't have much of a tolerance for different kinds of foods. So it's like
Don't get me
pizza
wrong,
or pad thai. That's it.
When offered pizza or Thai food, I will accept. But they're not going to be my go-tos every night.
Not
No.
every single.
Like, I have a feeling he goes to the place and they just know him by name by now. So it's Avery. You want your usual? Yeah. Okay.
I'm glad we've accelerated from I have to make a cake and there's no flour in my house to how could you eat pizza for every meal? I think this has been some real character growth on Visual Novel Book Club.
Right, yes.
So we go back.
Damn it! Now you've got me worried about Avery's nutrition.
We should all be worried about that.
Avery's into Soylent.
As they walk home, Avery would, and then would be like, "Oh, my stomach really hurts, but I don't know why." Is this part
Finley,
of the
my
curse?
body's covered in sores, and I don't know why. There's this green gunk at the bottom of the package.
Is that a thing with Soylent?
Oh
Your
yeah,
body gets
Soylent
covered
is like awful. Like people
Yeah,
will
there was
eat
some
it
that had
even though they're
mold.
like giving themselves sores from
Yeah.
malnutrition, and they get bad batches that give them diarrhea and vomiting.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Apparently that is stopped now, but it was just a bug in the first few batches.
I hate to all tell you our new sponsor, Soylent.
Like they had this Soylent forum, and people were going there to like report stuff like, "Oh, this batch is bad. It's got the gunk in it. Don't eat it, or it'll make you vomit."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember kind of stuff like that. I was like on our Soylent, right, which is like actually a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people messed up their butts with Soylent.
Yep.
It was a bunch of people that had invested like a ton of money into Soylent, trying to convince themselves that they purchased something that's edible and not something that's just going to slowly kill them.
Speaking of slowly kill them, can we get back on track?
Hey,
I
speaking of slowly kill him, as we're walking back home with Finley, or like people, I guess, Avery and Finley mentioned that Graves has been gone for a while. And even in my notes, I was like, is Graves dead? Graves, where are you?
No.
So Graves has just been gone. Why don't they care more? I don't know. I feel like I would be
who's
very
paying
concerned.
them?
Yeah, because who's paying you at the very least, right?
I don't think Avery has direct deposit, but yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
And so yeah, then we go back to the apartment, and Avery's limited palate is shown by how much of a big old spice baby they are.
Mm-hmm.
Avery Gray, baby spice.
Yes.
What?
Avery Gray, baby spice. Because pad thai too. Sheesh.
Yeah.
I'm not a big spice person, but come on, like my mom could do pad thai. Whatever. Okay.
So we read the grimoire with Finley on our lap, and there's like this little bit of intimacy with that. But Finley's a cat, so
It's
you know.
icky intimacy.
Yuck.
Yeah.
He like literally says something like, "Oh, this I could think of a way for this to be nicer." I'm like, "Oh, there's a cat sitting on your lap. Knock it off."
And then we stay up all night, and eventually Avery's like, I gotta go to sleep, and Finley's like, I'm gonna stay up and do magic stuff. And like, as soon as she said that, I was like, oh, she's gonna turn back into a human. And we wake up the next morning, and Finley turned herself back into a human.
How? Amazing.
It seems like learning to do magic makes you strong enough to not be affected by the curse, or like you can control it now so you don't get affected by the curse, like,
Right.
because Avery stopped the curse as soon as they sort of like learned magic and were able to control magic, so that seems to be the case. So I guess like if you're exposed to magic but you don't know how to use it, then you become cursed. But if you do know how to use it, you can uncurse yourself pretty easily. Seems to be how this lore works.
Right.
Not really that well developed either. It's just sort of like, but no, once you get the ability, the curse goes away. Like, oh, you can do stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
And
then
that's fine.
the witch rules are like, whoa, you're no familiar. You're a wizard. Never mind. We're all good. Sorry. Sorry about that.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Same thing came to my head.
So, as humans, they walk to work together and get donuts from the bodega, and they're being cute with each other, and Finley is just about to kiss Avery when suddenly the hoodie guy comes back, obviously.
Be ready for it.
Finley, in my notes I just wrote, Finley makes the meme face and says, "I've got this." So yeah, Avery's like, "Oh, I'm gonna fight," and Finley's like, "No, I'm gonna use my magic." And Finley casts a hashtag spell to block this man in real life.
And the dialogue box, all 3 lines of it are taken up with the big words hashtag blocked.
And she makes the hashtag sign, which is making 2 peace signs and then crossing them. To create a pound sign with your fingers.
This was almost like written on a dare. Like, what's the most painful thing we could do right now?
It's really painful. The hashtag is what makes it the most painful. Like, you could say blocked, but
It would be heavy-handed to say blocked, but you could do
Yeah.
it. It's really heavy-handed to say it and then make the symbol with your hands.
so
Yeah.
then not
I'm
only
all
does
for
she
this
say,
awfulness, by the way. This is
You're
like the first time the first time I played through this, I was feeling the same thing you guys were. But now knowing Finley and how probably lives life on the internet is just like, no, this is totally her. She probably makes the hashtag symbol with her hands, which I've never seen in real life, but she probably does
I've
it at
seen
least
it.
3 times a day.
I've seen it in real life, and let me tell you how it
Oh.
looks. So a guy that was a first-year PhD student in my lab before I left, that would make him 22, and I'm 28. So 22 years old in the year of our Lord 2016, who would make the sign. And what you do is you make the 2 peace signs, and you like touch them together twice for each syllable, and you say hashtag. And that's how he would do it in real life. So he would be like hashtag whatever at the end of his sentences. And I also
boy.
felt the need to call him Sweet Summer Child. It was rough. It's not like I had no affection for him. Like, it was like, aw, the first year. But it was
I just hate
painful.
him now. Is all.
This sounds like a
Yes.
Big Bang Theory joke. It really does.
Right?
Like
Yeah.
Sheldon does the 2-slap hashtag thing.
Yeah, but it happened. Wow.
It happened in real life, and I was just like, and I was just, and I was not like, me and my coworkers were blown away by this. We were like, "Are you really doing this in real life?" And he's like, "Yeah, like this is my hashtag brand." And we were like, "I quit the internet forever. I'm gone. I'm done. I quit this stupid show. I hate it. Goodbye, everyone." The cameras that are filming you at all times when you're in Los Angeles because you're on a reality show, they all turned off and left, and it was just.
I feel so much like worse. I think my head wound like reopened. This is just
And you're just
so
streaming
bad.
blood now.
I'm just grimly shaking my head no. Like, even though this is an audio podcast, I just can't stop
I
shaking
ran
my head.
into similar things, but nothing like that.
Shout out.
I'm
my
unaffected.
coworker.
Yeah.
Yeah, it turned out he's
Alright.
like, I'd do that. I'm gonna do that at our
That's
podcast panel.
Now I have to.
And
like,
like,
mental
So it
note-
gets worse.
yes, it
So
does.
gets
That's what I was
worse.
gonna say. It gets worse.
So
Yeah.
before we get to the worst part, I did have something that we skipped that I wanted to make note of. Sort of keeping in with Finley, sort of living life on the internet. When she turns human, she's actually really excited because she can finally wear different clothes and go places and do things and
Oh, yeah.
not basically live on the internet, which she pretty much implied that that's pretty much all she can do at her house.
Uh-huh.
So it was a little sad, and it's like, oh, that's sweet. Now you can actually live your life. And then, oh, please don't do that in public. Please don't do the hashtag sign. But yeah, and then she embarrasses you in public first thing.
Right, of course.
You guys heard of Jelly Donut?
You know what would have been great in a way is like not that, but like if she had done that and nothing had happened.
The guy's been looking at like, what is that supposed to?
Oh my
what?
god!
Like he just
Never
gets
mind,
really
you can
embarrassed
stay
for
on.
her and walks away.
You can stay on Neko. Jeez. Anyway, sorry.
Even I'm not that bad.
So then and then it gets worse. And the follow-up, well, the blocked or the hashtag blocked spell.
Oh yeah, we still have to say what it does to him. Like it's
So like
just
wind
makes
blows
him-
past him and he gets sort of like a blank stare on him and
It pins his
I
arms
forget-
to his side or something.
Yeah.
basically like disables him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sort of like the traditional, like the craft, I bind you from doing harm type of thing.
Yes.
But
Okay, if you guys don't want to say what happens next, I'll do it. She reports it.
Please.
Hashtag reported.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Please help us.
Which
and the cops
causes,
show up immediately.
Oh
yes,
my god,
which
the
causes
most
the police to
unrealistic
immediately show
It's
up.
like anime female cop. It's like, what? Come on. No. Like, this is a pop out of nothing.
the most unrealistic police interaction. So the implication is that like these two queer kids in an alley called a police officer to help them, and the police officer was like, "Is this guy bothering you? Time to take you to the station." Like, okay,
But
sure.
like,
We have ways
And I
of dealing with trolls.
I could
You
buy.
just hear a gunshot out of the alleyway.
Like a little thing of blood runs down, come out to the sidewalk out of there.
Like, Jesus Christ, Finley, what did you do?
Finley
I'm
never
sorry,
uses her magic again.
I didn't know. Like, I thought it was reporting him. Like, no.
What did you think it would do, Finley?
Okay, what about this though? What if that's not a real police officer? That was some kind of magic illusion, and now that guy is in some sort of like jail
Magic
between
jail?
Space pocket?
dimensions. Yeah,
Jesus.
like the Velvet Room or something. You know, like just
I mean, the way I read it, to be fair, is that like the report spell is like the police officer is sort of under that spell too, and is like, I'm gonna take you in. And there's probably a point, if you were really to take this to its logical conclusion, where they'd break out of it and be like, whoa, what's going? Why are you in the back of my police car? And then that person would be like, whoa, wait, how did I end up here? And then, you know what I mean? Because obviously this is not going to be like you're spending a night in jail without any sort of reason for being here, and other cops asking blah blah blah. You know what I mean? That's how I kind of read that.
Yeah.
But even regardless,
In my notes, I specifically have, I still don't get how this police officer magic works and they get here. Because we actually learned a little bit later that the person has to, like, it basically works on the sort of target hearing and understanding the letters, the magic words. So
Right.
it doesn't exactly make sense how it can affect someone other than the person. But I guess the answer is it's magic. A wizard did it. So whatever.
Yeah.
not
is
a real
actually
police
the
officer
answer,
took him to
yeah.
a hell dimension.
I like that actually.
that is a good one though. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do
And
like that.
that can be the VNBC canon because I don't think you ever see the guy again. So there.
No.
Yeah, he's fucking
he's
dead,
just whisked
actually.
away to a
He's
pocket
dead and
dimension.
also dying forever in the hell dimension.
Kind of, he wishes he were dead.
Yes.
Really.
Yeah, but he
Yeah, it's a
can't.
real I have no mouth, but I'm a scream situation in there.
Finley is sort of like an eldritch god.
Yeah. On the internet.
Yeah, no.
Doing internet cat videos. Cat Thulu. Anyway.
And we don't see the follow up where Finley like realizes what she's done to this poor man and like has to like free him from his hell prison that has lasted
I don't
just a
think
day,
Finley
but
would
also
care.
an eternity.
I honestly think Finley would just be like, oh, that sucks for him.
All right, I
Shouldn't have
forgot.
messed with me, motherfucker.
Time to go play more of my dating sims.
Forgot about Finley with a gun.
Right.
So after all this is over, Finley hugs us, and there's like a CG, and it's like, oh, now we're dating for real, and cool, great.
Now that the dragon of the internet shitlord is defeated.
And also, hold on, we're skipping a part where, like, she tells him she's been working on her magic all night, and she was just thinking that what if blocking and reporting worked in real life? And my first reaction was, they don't fucking work online either!
Yeah, right?
What I like is afterwards, where she makes this comment of, maybe you wouldn't have trolls online if this happened more in real life. And it's like, how many people do you want to send to the Shadow Realm, Finley?
I'm just imagining, to Jim's comment, the police officer instead just being a Twitter bot and being like, please don't make false reports. You can't talk to them.
This person has a blue check mark. Did you swear at them?
No, the cop comes back to Finley and she's like, what the fuck are you doing here? And then just instantly, like, cocks her with her gun.
It's just, like, there's so much about that. There's so many jokes there.
Yeah, we can go endless on that. So
make your own. Put it in here.
So then, I think Finley and Avery finally play that game, Blast Zone.
Yeah, they play Blast Zone at the cafe. Mm-hmm. Finley is super into it and they have to play it per specific. It's a dating sim.
It's a dating sim. Yeah.
So Avery's like, let's try out these other routes, and I do actually love Finley's reaction, which is, no, we have to do Kita. You don't understand. The story falls apart in the other routes. It's a trash game.
Yeah, it gets very meta. It gets real meta real fast.
It's really good. I definitely, like, it's such a relatable way to feel about a game, which is like, this is trash and I hate it, but also this is my favorite game and I love it if I play it this one specific way. And Avery gets a good line, which is, I didn't think I'd like a romantic game about boys fighting, but this is compelling. And I wrote, this is why Finley calls us a sweet summer child so much. So they have fun, and they decide that they gotta teach everyone else magic. So they can be uncursed also. So, of course.
They talk like, oh, what's the best way of doing it? Maybe we could make a YouTube video for it or something like that.
We'll make a Let's Play. At this point in my notes, I don't know if they talk about it, but I just wrote "Where the fuck is Graves" in my notes, in all caps. So again, still not there.
And it implies that it's been going on for like weeks. That this has been going on for a while.
Yeah. So afterwards, they end up going to their different apartments. Finley actually says that she has some editing to do for whatever she's doing, and it immediately occurred to me that she was editing videos in cat form before, and oh my god, just editing as a human is painful enough. How can you do that as a cat?
Wow.
Well, also, like, what editing can you do for a cat video? You know what I mean? Like, I need to add an overlay. I mean, it's a fucking cat balancing. It's,
I need to cut out that part where I
here.
messed up my line.
Yeah, you at least have to cut pieces of it. And I mean, like, maybe she has Premiere, maybe she doesn't.
When she accidentally meows.
She could just be using, iMovie or something like that, and it's just a lot harder,
No, fair. Maybe AVI Synth, who knows? Anyway, don't use AVI Synth.
She's using FFmpeg. It's real hard for a cat.
No, don't. Yeah, don't.
We are really going down the rabbit hole now.
Each frame and
yeah, we are. All right. Anyhow.
Alright, so, Avery is walking home, and I have in my notes, it's your boy. Because we see the big creepy dude show up again.
Not the internet guy. The actual.
Oh, yeah,
no,
the other
Rusty Bikes.
Rusty.
Rust guy.
Yeah,
Rusty Bikes is his name.
Rusty Bikes is his name, actually, yeah.
Yeah, Rusty Bikes, so he starts asking us questions, and he's like,
where's Graves?
Yeah, he eventually is just like, I won't mince words. I'm trying to hunt down Graves. You seen him? See, I've been looking for my old buddy, and I can't find him. It's like you don't exist. And
he talks, yeah.
He has a southern
like,
drawl,
yeah,
which I kind of actually like that about the characterization. You don't actually, like... It's nice to have something other than, like, standard British villain voice.
Right.
And he doesn't look like he should have that accent, which I think is also a nice detail. Like, it's not like he shows up in overalls and is like, now I reckon the Graves is around here somewhere.
I like his design a bunch for who he is and everything, yeah.
And eventually, so that it's a very one-sided conversation. I don't even remember Avery saying anything, but it ends with Rusty Bike saying, I suppose his apprentice will do, that'll send the message. At this point, Avery, in like the one smart move he's done this entire session, immediately starts running.
Right.
But we don't get far. The Rust guy rests our foot to the ground, and Avery like sprains their ankle or something, falling to the ground, and we're rusted to the ground, and we're like, oh no! But then Graves is back and appears to save us. Just comes out of nowhere, and says something to the Rusty Bikes, whose name is Knocked.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So
Knocked.
Rusty Bikes.
Yeah, Rusty Bikes.
I did actually write this down because it used a word that I didn't know, which was he said, you haven't changed a bit, Knocked. Still pushing around the weak to excuse your own. Damn it! And I looked up the pronunciation and I fucked this up.
Was it malfeasance?
It's malfeasance. Yeah.
Yeah, malfeasance.
Malfeasance.
A very Graves word.
Yeah.
So Graves frees our foot from the rust with magic and draws his sword cane.
He has a sword cane! This fucking
is
nerd!
Extremely good.
Yeah, it's the most obvious freaking weapon he could possibly draw.
Avery even says that.
Yep.
Avery is even like, of course you have. Like, you're gonna die, and you're like, of course you have a sword cane, Graves.
I completely forgot that he had a sword cane, so like when that pulled out, I was like, oh shit! That was my
so
like,
good.
that was my oh shit moment of several times.
So Graves is like, get out of here.
Flee, you fool.
And you have the option to run away or stay and help.
Before that, he takes our hands. He takes our hands and
stuff
says,
till after.
"Oh, he doesn't."
Yeah, it's weird. I know. I thought that too, but I have it in my notes.
Okay.
Yeah, he does it later.
But anyway, you do have the choice of either staying and helping Graves or running.
Oh no, actually, in my notes, he does give it to you beforehand.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
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 He says, I don't imagine this will end well, and then could I ask you for a favor? He takes his hand.
Yeah. And he says, I give it to you, all of it, take care of it for me, Avery. And we have an image
And it's a fedora.
Yeah. And then he hands Avery a rifle. No.
And also, Give has... Yeah, Give... Oh, sorry, yeah.
Give is capitalized, yep.
Yeah, Give is capitalized, which I didn't notice in my previous playthroughs. And, but we are treated to a little scene of Graves holding Avery's hands and like some like little magic fireflies coming out of it. So we can tell that this is supposed to be magic, but Avery's like, what? I don't understand.
And it's like, Avery, come on.
And
really? Now?
Then we get the choice?
Then we get the choice.
Yes, then we get the choice.
Yeah.
And Graves says,
I want to go over this.
Sure.
Yeah,
because
please tell us.
You can apparently choose to stay or run
I
away.
did.
Yeah, I
You
did
did?
too.
Okay,
Yep.
if you
I
choose,
stayed.
choose to stay and help Graves, he'll be like, "What are you doing? I told you to run," and then you immediately get beamed by Rusty Bikes over the head with his bat, and he's like, "I always knew you'd get taken down by one of your strays one of these days," and then the next scene is just a picture of your lifeless bodies, you and Graves, just completely rusted over.
Mm-hmm. It's fairly like
It's fairly
fairly.
It gets dark immediately, and I specifically didn't tell you guys, which option to choose for this because I wanted to see which of you would do it, and I think it's kind of because like it's sort of one of those bad ends that you're sort of intended to get to sort of establish the villain, because, like, of course, no, I'm going to try and help out my boss against the villain.
I kind of did, like, I hate people like this, but, like, I did kind of think it was the wrong choice. I'm not trying to rewrite history and be like, no, I knew the whole time, but, like, you know.
Oh, no, I figured the same thing, but I also wanted to see what would happen.
Yeah.
I remembered from the stream that I have mentioned seeing, this was, like, the one thing that I remembered, and I was like, oh, yeah. But, yeah, you get fucking killed and turned to rust.
You're dead. Your ass is dead, and so is Graves.
I can't believe Avery's fucking dead.
It's very Tetsuo the Iron Man, but it meets Silent Hill, I guess.
I don't get either of those references. What's Silent Hill?
So if you run away, Avery runs to the cafe and calls Finley, and they run and get to the cafe, and like Avery calls Finley and then like thinks like, oh wait, she's coming over here, like what if she gets intercepted, and like they didn't really think it through. Pretty soon everybody's in the cafe.
Wait, Finley, by the way, is ready to pop a cap when she gets there, because she's like, let me at him.
She's like, oh, my dumb baby, what happened to you?
I'll block him.
It keeps making sense.
And like she squeezes him to her chest and just holds him there like a dumb baby.
Yeah, there's like an anime like face and boobs joke. Yeah.
So, but everyone does arrive, and I don't know if Avery called them all, but there is the text that the curse must have broken for everyone at once, because they're all in they arrive in their human forms, and everyone's sort of upset. They can understand why the curse is broken. Reese is, of course, the most upset, and there's sort of the sad text of Reese admired Graves a lot. I think he was the only one of us who really did.
Yeah, like, come on. That line really makes me want to take the Reese path next, because like I'm like, how I want to know more about magic. I want to know more about Graves. Why don't any of you care about him when he's the source of this magical knowledge that we know that we need?
Yeah, and like playing through like all this, I feel like this is the moment where they like give you a bunch of the characterization to be like, oh, who do you want to play next? Because like Reese does, a lot of stuff. We had Mason sort of being the protector before, although that didn't sit with everyone that well. But and there are some other people too, but who cares?
Landry comes out of nowhere and he's like, magic is a scourge, so what's the deal with that? What's that, Landry?
Who are you again?
Who are you again?
Landry? You don't remember me? From the beginning and like not much else?
I built a
Landry
ramp!
Guy? Yeah, he built a ramp that one time and I was like, magic is a fucking scourge. Like, god damn, Landry! And so naturally, Reese is mad that Graves gave us his stuff, but like we were the only one there.
Reese actually. Reese actually finally explains it. When a witch defeats another in the duel, they take the loser's property. Which, like, suck it, Property Brothers. That is a much cheaper way of.
Literally, like
real estate is so much easier.
Which is race for pink slips, like,
and that's why Landry
Avery's like, that doesn't make sense from a legal standpoint, and like Reese is like, it's more complicated than that, you ass.
What do you mean? What do you mean you're being turned into rust? That's illegal. People can't do that.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Reese is like, yeah, no, I know that there are like,
I know that there
leases
are laws
and all that, like.
Right, we are talking about magic and wizards here, Avery.
Yeah. But he does sort of brush it to the side, like, but we're also like under the threat of like a murderous dude. So I'm just going to tell you this is how it is.
Sure.
And I made a note here where I said, in my notes, I wish the team had shown themselves as being more capable before this point. And I think that they're like, oh, we need to make a plan, and we need to figure out what we're gonna do, and like. This is nothing. Like, this is out of nowhere, and I have no like background sense of how capable any of these people are. Like, I know like Mason is physically strong, but that's really it. Like, how can each of them help? And I feel like that's one of the limitations of like the limited scope of this game, that we don't really have time in the build up to this to really find out, what more about the team, like, right? And we have the way we're gonna find that out, I guess, is by dating all of them.
Yeah, I have this in my notes where it's like everyone suddenly becomes super competent.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. Well, we'll get to that later, but they do sort of make a plan, and like Finley goes to get Avery's cat Mochi, which I would have completely forgotten about in that situation. But
yeah, I would have been like, Mochi's fine. Mochi's not here under attack from the Rust Wizard, so don't worry about it.
Was it Reese and Landry go to get Graves'?
They get Graves, and they take him. They bring him back, and he's a Rust statue, and they drag him back.
They have magic gloves.
Special gloves.
Yeah,
and it's
special
real fucked
gloves.
up. Like, this is really dark. Because at this point, I'm like, Graves is dead. Like, this Graves is dead, and like they're bringing him back, like his rusted, dead body.
Like, not
and
only
they're
that,
also
a statue now.
Not only that, but it's like magic rust, where if you touch it, you get rusted too.
Yeah, so they're like,
Oh
all right,
my
we
God.
kind of have to leave them outside so the cats don't touch them, and none of you guys touch them, or you'll die too. And
like, just imagine this, like them bringing Rusty Graves into the cat cafe, and then a cat brushes up against it, starts rusting, just flips the fuck out, starts running everywhere, rust starts spreading, jump into somebody's lap, they just scream and start
Save
rusting.
some for the fan fiction.
I kind of want
The
to.
whole thing is terrifying.
I kind of want that bad ending, though. I want the cat running around, turning everything.
Yeah, make a
into
choice. It's like, leave Graves
It's
outside
real
or
dark.
bring Graves in.
It's a really thing. It's like an unexpectedly dark element of it, because like at this point you think that Graves is dead forever, and like, I don't know, it's scary and kind of a little too dark for this game.
No, I don't know. I was kind of down with it.
Yeah, I like it. I actually wish that the game was like this more often, because the like when we first turned into a cat, I was like, why isn't this darker? Like, go all in or don't,
Right.
yeah,
So all of a sudden things are really scary, and they all decide to like cram magic studies overnight so they can
yeah, and this
learn
is where
magic.
I'm like, these guys aren't actually that competent, because they have like discussion about like, oh, we'll learn magic and then we can fight against them. And Reese, like, being the person apparently that actually knows some magic, is like, we can't really do that, and sort of tries to be the voice of reason, but they also don't have any better options. So they just decide to do they equate it to like midterm cramming the night before your exam. And they apparently try and study. And all of them are just, like, apparently just fucking off on their phones and stuff like that. So this is where I'm like, they're not actually this competent.
And Avery's like, I don't know how to teach, but I do know how to be a piece of shit and cram for an exam. Like, come on, Avery.
After after a little bit of trying to do it, Avery's just like, you know what, I'm gonna go to sleep. You guys do your own thing.
They're all the worst. They're
They
all
really
like
are.
shitty kids.
But Hayes isn't. Hayes actually does good shit here. Like, he does first aid on Avery and like brings him tea and stuff, and he's like really good at that. So he
talks about how he learned how to do it in the Boy Scouts. He doesn't get nervous. Yeah, that was the sort of Hayes thing. I was like, oh, that makes me more interested in Hayes. He learned how to do like
Hayes
first
knows
aid.
exactly where he is. He's not trying to do shit that he can't do. He's good at first aid and like helping people. So that's just what he does.
And he mentioned he's like never been afraid at the sight of like wounds and all that. And I'm like, oh, does that go into your backstory at all?
Yeah, Hayes is interesting.
Yeah, Hayes doesn't even try to learn magic because I guess he just knows that he can't do it. Like, he's not like
he just
Avery,
mostly
where it's
makes
like, I'm
coffee
gonna-
for everyone else.
Yeah, I'm gonna study this magic, but I'm probably just gonna fuck it up.
Hayes knows what he's good at and goes with that,
So,
which I respect.
So then Finley, we have a special scene with Finley. Finley shows up and is afraid for us and holds us for a while, and she says, Avery, if we make it out of this, will you cosplay with me?
Sorry, I put my headphones down because I knew what was going to happen, and I just couldn't hear that in vocal.
In my notes, I just wrote, "I'm cry."
It's just so awkward, and I know that's the point, but it's
just it's not
I get
how
it, and
serious is this game?
Yeah.
How serious is any of this? And
it's I get it.
Serious.
I know this is Finley, and I'm digging it because let's go all in with the cheese with Finley, but it's
after I
the secondhand
this
embarrassment
route,
is still
We get it, Turbo. It's a trash game. You just love the trash game.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's my trash game that I love.
Is Finley the best girl or the worst girl? It's hard to tell, frankly. Maybe she's both.
But yeah, I think that's all we can really say about that.
God. So then, Finley wants to cosplay at a con as the main two characters from Blast Zone.
So everyone has their plan for if he comes, we'll all take him together as a group, and then they hear a sound of a window breaking upstairs. And we should mention they moved all the cats downstairs into the basement, including Grace's cat Dracula.
Have we talked, by the way, about the fact that Noct or Rusty Bikes has a baseball bat?
I don't think so. No, he has a baseball bat, and they said when Avery got sort of hit in the foot, they heard a bat hitting a home run sound behind him. So,
aluminum bat, to be fair.
Yeah, aluminum.
Right. Yeah, they kind of play up that he has this aluminum bat because in scenes where he's chasing somebody, he's doing that killer thing where he's pinging the bat against stuff as he's chasing him, trying to. Yeah. He's
kind of intimidating without the magic stuff at first, because it's this guy is threatening you with a bat implicitly.
Yeah.
And then it kind of works for the whole Rust thing. I don't know. I really like that detail.
I do like it, and I when I sort of picture it in my head, how he's sort of casting the rest spells, I sort of imagine it he's tossing up an imaginary ball and swings it and hits it at you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good fake out, too, because it kind of implies, I kept thinking the whole time, oh, wait, it's aluminum bat, an aluminum can, and maybe, this will be Avery's magic that'll, manipulate the bat. And I think you're supposed to think that, and then it doesn't actually ever happen.
Yeah.
Right. No, because it's not trash.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
It's only empty soda cans.
Right, yes. It has to be useless, specifically.
You dumb baby. Here's your trash pile.
So Mason goes up. So they say we're going to stick together and do this together.
We have a chance if we do it together. And then Mason's all right, I'm going to go up. You guys stay down here.
No, weren't you paying attention, Mason?
Mason's the one that suggested they stick together.
I love that. Angry. They suggest that, and then they immediately split up.
This is the point in the horror movie when you go, no, that's a terrible idea.
And so then, there's noise upstairs, and Noct suddenly falls from the top floor window outside with a statue on top of him, and the statue that fell on top of him is Mason, who has been turned into a Rust statue. And at this point, I'm like, Mason is fucking dead? Wow,
well, at this point,
this is dark?
Mason is dead, but also, with her dying breath, body slammed him out a window. Good on you,
That's pretty
Mason.
good, yeah.
Yeah.
If
even the bad guy,
when
he comes back
effective.
down, he's like, oh, she didn't even have magic. She didn't need it, though.
I think her magic was wrestling, obviously.
Yeah.
There was
magic of wrestling.
There was
it's magic to me, damn it.
There was even a quote later.
Magic is real. Oh, sorry, God.
There was even a quote later while they were doing their prep, which was just I don't even think Mason needs a cramp for the magic. She could probably just snap Noct's neck if she got the chance. Mason's really strong. Is I think the gist of what they have repeated.
Right.
So then they all run outside. or like some of them run outside. Finley tries to do her hashtag blocked at Noct, but it doesn't work. Reese tries to cast some spell, and he gets turned to rust, so now Reese is fucking dead. And Avery has to run back inside and barricade the door, and like Finley's like, but Reese, and Avery's like, we gotta, we don't have time for that, he's already gone. And it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's like I gotta use my trash magic to build a wall of trash.
Which
and
is what happens.
Also, like, it's also kind of like, oh man, I wish there were more pictures of this.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of hard, like, it's kind of hard to imagine the magic, like, happening and what that looks like.
Right.
And it gets confusing, like, where are Landry and Hayes? I didn't really...
Yeah, I was losing a sense of, like, where everybody was.
I think Hayes was, like, hiding in the kitchen. I don't know where Hayes was, but I think Landry, he went upstairs to check on Mason, and I think the implication is that he got rusted over up in the apartment, too. He just didn't body slam out the window.
Well, then what good was he?
Yeah.
We'll never know until we date him. Avery, so yeah, Avery's throwing garbage at Noct, and Finley, that's when Finley realizes, like, oh, maybe he doesn't, like, if Avery's like, well, that guy doesn't seem like he goes on the internet a lot, so maybe he doesn't know, like, what that means, so that's why the spell doesn't work.
Like, this is where
Noct says something...
Go ahead.
Noct himself, though, says something weird, like, what are those words you're saying?
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's like, you probably know what the word blocked means, even if not in this context.
Yeah, because I initially read it as, like, maybe, like, the spell was, like, gibberish or some kind of, like, arcane something to him or whatever, but, like...
But also,
no, yeah,
we're going to establish his age shortly, and he's not old enough to not know what the internet is.
Yeah.
Right.
I think he probably didn't know what a hashtag was, and that's what he got hung up on.
He's just a square, I guess.
Honestly,
he's
yeah.
just,
But I like this idea.
He's one of them country bumpkins.
I like this idea that the spell has to be, like, contextual for whoever you're using it against. So, like, the guy that spends all his time on the internet, it worked for him, but not this guy.
But that would mean, like, Avery is, like, the least susceptible to magic because he's Avery's such a dumb baby.
Yeah.
I don't know any words.
Well, the magic spell would be like, go away.
My magic is rattling keys. Jingle, jingle.
Yeah,
it has to be... Right, it has to be like a monosyllabic wizard.
Yeah, so at this point they're like, oh, we have to find, like, a phrase or something that works for him. And... yeah, just, like, go away. That would be a good one.
But no, they figure out, like, based on... so Noct quotes some lyrics that Finley remembers from Graves' college band's shitty song, and they're like, oh man, let's remember Graves' college band's shitty song from when Reese said it a little while ago.
Yeah, and they realize, like, oh shit, he was in the band!
Right, because Noct says something that from, like, a line from that, like...
Yeah, he says, as the old song goes, life 'tis but a march towards death, or something like that.
And does he not realize that's not a song anyone would know except for, like, maybe he was hoping they were fans. Like, they'd be like, oh gosh, yeah!
You know that classic old song?
Oh yeah, and I love it because as they're, like, remembering this, both Avery and Finley shout Spider Coven at the same time because they're so excited about this stupid shitty band.
Yeah.
Your friends are literally dead, Avery.
Yeah, it's really, like, yeah. I don't know. I wish it was more clear that they were not dead from rust, that they were, like, trapped or something like that, because then the, like, lightness of this would make more sense.
Yeah. Well, I think you're supposed to believe that it's, they're dead. I think they sort of did that on purpose. It is scary. I think that they want you to fearful of Noct.
I'm with Turbo
Bikes.
though, like, because I did kind of have this, like, notion of, like, I think they're probably all gonna, like, everybody's okay kind of thing. But, like, I do think, yeah, you're supposed to be sort of fooled by...
Like, spoilers, that everyone was okay, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, it makes...
I didn't mean to say that, I just meant that's what I was betting on.
It makes sense
time,
if, like,
the
statues are whole, then I guess you can bring them back, but, like, what if... Maybe that's why he carries
What
the
if
bat
Graves'
around.
leg fell off?
Well, like, maybe that's why he carries the bat around, like, he just rusts somebody and then just bashes them to pieces.
No, you know what
kinda makes
made me
sense,
think? as people were turning into rust, it made me think that everyone died in every ending, and then like that's like the only way that you get like the ending where nobody dies is like this final ending that you get from doing all the other paths. But that would be like too dark for this game.
I was sort of thinking too when I first played this. I was like, yeah, at least someone dies in every ending, and then the true everyone survives ending would be like the secret route, the Graves route.
You have to date Graves to save the world.
You have to date your boss.
Okay, so they say the shitty lyrics, and they say so Avery makes a
trash megaphone.
A trash megaphone.
Yeah.
And
I helped.
Finley, yeah, Avery helps. Finley recites Graves' shitty lyrics at Knocked, and
including the something. Yeah.
Including something in French, which doesn't do anything, and they like even point out like that line didn't do anything because you just said something in French, but you know it was part of the whole thing.
I've got the picture here.
Cool,
it says something I don't know French, and I like to think that spell just made him forget French.
Oh no! Oh no! What is contagion? That's so bad.
They do like even mention that like the wind flew past, you know, the magic effects still like, you know, worked, and they're like,
so
oh, that's cool. So no, I like that. I like he doesn't know French
just him
anymore.
forgetting French.
Yeah, it's just like it's a certain je ne sais. Wait, what?
What?
Jean Squaw. You never heard of Jean Squaw? What? All right.
So when that happens, Noct, I guess, loses his magic, and everybody comes back from being rusty. Everyone's back. Graves is back. Everybody gets up. Everyone's okay. Graves is like, Finley, you locked Noct's magic away.
Yeah.
And Noct drops his rusty bat, and it dissolves into nothing.
And then Graves comes up and is like, you know, you should get out of here before you fade into nothing too. Yeah,
you're powerless
and
now.
he's like, you know, even without he actually does make some like, I mean that pretty much is what his threat is, but he was also like, you know, now you don't have your magic, pretty much even these weaklings, and like points to Finley and Avery could beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, that's well.
I mean, first of all, what if at that point he just drew a gun?
Who knocked?
What if Rusty Bikes had a gun? What if Graves also had a gun?
Here's the thing, they let him go. It's like, oh, you might have won this time, Graves, but I'll be back. It's like, why are you letting this guy go? He almost killed you all.
Because everyone is okay and nobody died.
Well, for now.
And not even as like, you know, I'm gonna be back.
In like, Muscle Cat 2.
What happened between Graves and Noct that made Noct wanna friggin' kill Graves so bad and everyone around him?
They sort of like hint at it because like after, you know, Noct walks away, like they sort of do like a plot summary, which is like an Avery plot summary, which is just like I was sort of going in and out of it, and like apparently it was a lover's spat or a bandmate spat or something. I don't know.
I stopped listening halfway through.
Avery immediately passes out, first of all. Avery immediately passes out and then wakes up in our apartment, or some apartment, and Graves stops over to explain things, and in my notes it says, Graves stops over to explain things, and Avery just glosses over it. You fucker, you absolute fucker, I hate this, why doesn't anyone care about Graves? Graves, I'll care about you and your stupid band!
It's like, Avery was just thinking about pizza, probably. Let's be real.
And the best part is, they go back to Finley's place, and Finley has to sleep on the floor because the dumb baby took up the whole friggin' bed all day.
This dumb baby. Even my dumb babies could defeat you now.
I feel like Finley is probably just used to sleeping on the floor now.
Oh yeah,
there's that too, right? Yeah, the whole world that you have to readjust to now.
So then it's the end. Avery
well,
and Finley...
let's not gloss over the end here.
Avery and Finley do a Let's Play of Blast Zone.
So yeah, they start doing a Let's Play, and then at night, they become...
They become anti-troll superheroes.
Yeah. Finley was like, oh no, let's use our magic for good, and, apparently, does exactly what she said, which was send all of the internet trolls to Shadow Realm.
Yeah, let's just condemn a bunch of people that might have bad opinions online to the Shadow Realm.
I like to think that she did actually, people that actually, she talks about the Blast Zone sequel that is trash, like, she sends everyone that likes that into the Shadow Realm.
The next game, the sequel is about us, like, finally having to turn on Finley for using her powers for evil and becoming corrupted.
You didn't beat Dark Souls? What the hell's wrong with you?
God,
blocked!
It's like sugar-coated Death Note.
Oh my god. And then we have like cool costumes, like it shows like Finley and Avery in all black, like looking over the city.
Yeah. And that's sort of our end art. And then credits roll and we are treated with the achievement that says Meme Weaver. Which I like to imagine is their superhero team name.
Oh my god.
Well, then what's Avery's superhero name?
No, they're both Meme Weavers.
No, one of them is Meme and one of them is Weaver.
It's
Meme Weaver and Trash
Dumb Baby. It's Meme Weaver and Dumb Baby. Here's my sidekick, Dumb Baby.
Dumb Trash Son. Yeah.
I thought I was trashery. No, Avery, that doesn't even make sense. Get out of here.
I mean, smart child. Go ahead, do your magic there, smart child. Look, he's gonna welt you with some plastic bits. Just take it.
I have a styrofoam cup. Watch out!
He's gonna try to throw a styrofoam javelin at you. Just take it.
If you don't humor Avery, then it just means it's more quickly that you get sent to the Shadow Realm by Finley to be killed over and over again for all eternity.
Yep.
We'll leave it up to you if you think this is a good ending or not.
The last stage of Hustle Cat, just like you guys said it was a roller coaster. It just goes back and forth and like, oh, this is kind of serious. Oh, she's memeing now. Oh, Graves is dead. Oh, she wants to cosplay.
Right. It's like, this is not as bad as maybe our summary is making it out to be. I didn't feel like, I don't know, some things like do tonal when you have, like, tonal whiplash is never like a great thing, but I don't think this was quite as bad as, I don't know.
It just breaks narrative a few times where, like, you just get totally taken out of the story sometimes.
This is definitely a, like, semi-humorous podcast, so we're definitely sort of taking leeway with how it is, but
please don't confront us at our cafe about this.
It's just I think it certainly could have been like less whiplashy. It's if I really felt like it bottomed out at hashtag blocked. I hated that so damn much. But you
immediately messaged us on the Discord chat when you got to that part.
Yeah, your words were, "I think I'm done with Hustle Cat."
And then like, okay, maybe not, but and then I mean, it's
I thought it was funny.
Well, even D-Vac, you were in Discord like, okay, and then
it's a little bit too like. I think the tonal whiplash is a little bit too like wacky for me, like in a bad way, and I think it's a function again of the sort of limitations of the game. It's a shorter game. They only have you only have so much money, you only have so much time, and there's like I think all of it ties back to what I said before of like I wish that they had 3 times more money and 3 times as much time to really
Thanks to the exposure from this, they will.
It is something like, it's definitely more of like a shock. Like playing through this a second time, like it's still like, okay, hashtag blocked, all right. But Finley is very much more of a.
I think if, like, you're more prepared for it, then, yeah, certainly it's like, okay, whatever, you know, all right, it is what it is kind of thing. But when, like, you know, when you have no idea it's coming, it's like, oh, come on.
Oh, no,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
I think that I find myself saying a lot of the same things that we said about Ever 17, actually, where it was like, oh, like, this is kind of amateurish, but you can see the potential for future work that is more in-depth.
Yeah.
There were a couple parts that just, like I said, it just broke the narrative a bit too much, and so the whole thing as a whole really didn't. This one playthrough didn't work for me, but I could see, like, if you just sort of just go in saying, okay, listen, I'm just gonna. Part of my suspension of disbelief is, like, some of the times this game doesn't know if it's trying to be serious or just get completely wacky. And just be like, I'm just gonna have fun with it. Like, that kind of, like, that level of acceptance, if you build up through playthroughs, is probably a lot easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I could see that. I think, yeah, it kind of comes down to, like, that, yeah, it's hard to, like, know how to suspend your disbelief. Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, because some of it, it's like, it starts out fairly, like, all right, maybe not cartoony, but, like, there's, like, stuff in there that's like, oh, we're turning into a cat, what the heck, and no one even, you know what I mean? So you're like, all right,
I still don't believe in magic for some reason.
Yeah, and then it's like, Rust God is coming to kill you, you know, like, holy shit, you know. Like.
Yeah, and though I do like that it, like, I think if it didn't go back and forth, like, with, and maybe this is because of the Finley route, like, if it had stayed scary once it turned scary, just, like, all the way, that could have also been very effective. And so I wonder if this will change on a different route with somebody who is not Finley.
Yeah, like, because then, they also did, like, an 80s study montage, but with magic, in the middle of Rust God coming to kill you, and blah, blah, blah. Let's then ask that too, like, what route do we want to do next? I'm assuming we don't know for sure, like, what's a good one, if there is, like, a preferred second or anything like that. Right?
I don't really think so. I think, I'll even sort of, like, abstain from voting unless there's a need for a tiebreaker or something like that. But no, I think they're all equal, and I think you sort of get a taste of each character to.
Yeah, I'd say my top two are definitely Reese or Mason. Like, I think Mason could be really cool because just, you know, she seems like a fun character, and Reese seems like there'd be a lot more backstory to everything.
Yeah, I vote for Reese. I think I don't really like Reese that much as a person. Although he is mute, so, like, I think we can get what we're gonna get out of that one.
You keep saying that. I'm like, no, he can talk.
No, he's like, but I want to know. I want to play a route where we care about Graves so that we can know what's going on.
Yeah, I think Mason could be fun, but I'm fine with whatever, honestly. If we want to do Reese, we can do Reese. Whatever.
Polo.
I think Reese.
I guess we can do Reese.
Whatever.
No, I don't care. I mean, not that I don't care, but we're gonna get to them all anyway, so it's not like, you know.
So why don't we do Reese next?
Sure.
Fair enough.
Some answers.
All right.
Yeah, do it.
I want answers.
All right. Are we just now openly admitting that, like, Landry's gonna be the last route?
Oh yeah, because Landry seems boring as fuck.
I think Landry would actually be a good last route before Graves.
Oh man, maybe Landry has some kind of, like, really fucked up twist or something like that.
Not spoiling anything, but I think it's sort of.
I'm just gonna say we never saw Noct and Landry in the same room together.
Holy shit!
It's just gonna turn out that, like, Landry's really racist. He's gonna like milkshake duck everything.
Oh no! To inform you.
Avery, I have a confession to make. I actually hate cats.
And witches.
Magic is a scourge, just like brown people.
Oh no, Landry.
Why?
So, like, everybody loved you, Landry. What happened?
Oh. You're like one of those trolls now on the internet. Finley, go get. Alright, anyway. Alright, well, that's.
Finley, grab me my gun.
Just please end the podcast on Finley grabbing my gun.
Something in French.
Please don't kill me, Finley.
Good night.